Welcome to another movie review, and I'm going to be reviewing today the 1961 movie Paris Blues. It's directed by Martin Ritt, and it was written for the screen by Walter Bernstein, Irene Camp, Jack Shear and Lula Rosenfeld. They're responsible for the adapted screenplay. It was based on a novel by Harold Flender titled Paris Blues that he wrote, and that was available in 1957. The movie, produced by Sam Shaw, and the music, of course, responsible for this brilliant score is one Duke Ellington. Now there will be some slides to help you with the details here. We've got two with regard to the music, one a list of musicians that played on the soundtrack, and two, the songs and tracks available on that soundtrack. Plus, of course, we will have our usual slide of the personnel in the movie. The actors, actresses, directors, and all the other members of the production team. We'll get some of them on screen as well for you. So lots of information for you to glide over. Just a word about those cast members. We'll just go through the main characters. In the lead role is Paul Newman. He plays Ram Bowen. He's a trombonist. Here, his romantic interest is played by Joanna Woodward. She is Lillian Corning. Sidney Poitier is fellow jazz musician Eddie Cook, a friend of Ram's, and he's playing the sax. And then we have Diane Carroll, who plays Connie Lamson, and she becomes Eddie's girlfriend in the film. You might also catch the infamous Louis Armstrong. Some people call him Louis. I prefer Louis, and his character is Wildman Moore. And there's a host of other supporting actors, and they'll be on that slide for you to peruse. So to the plot then. It's set in Paris at the beginning of the 60s. Both Ram and Eddie have gravitated to Paris, and they feel very much at home. They're enjoying their lives playing jazz nightly at a Paris club, and they are at the top of their form as musicians in a city which is free of racism. This film, a pretty radical film for its time. It received a nomination at the Academy Awards in 1962 for Best Music Score by Ellington, and so there's a guaranteed high quality in the music. And Ellington also received a nominee for a Grammy for Best Album for his work on this soundtrack. A wonderful piece of work, and now we're going to get a little taste of that plot. Eddie and Ram are playing at their club early on, and we get a taste of the jazz that's going to flourish throughout the film. The band name that they're playing is called Mustachio. Ram wants to be considered by the echelons within the jazz community as a writer of music, and there's a friendly dialogue between Ram and Eddie. They're talking about a piece of music that Ram has put to paper. He's fishing for compliments from Eddie, who's a bit reserved really about Ram's work. A strong friendship certainly exists, but it's a friendship that enables criticism of each other when appropriate. We then get to meet the girls, a chance meeting when Ram runs into them. The young women are on a 2-week vacation in Paris, and they meet Ram at the railway station, and he suggests to Lillian that for entertainment they should come along to the jazz club that evening and get a taste of the music, which they decide to do. This starts the two romances. The two holiday relationships evolve, and with that beautiful jazz score by Ellington to capture the mood, the chemistry between the two couples is magnetic. Lillian's taken an instant shine to Ram, of course, but he's somewhat reticent. she attempts to get under his skin. Alongside this is the developing relationship between Eddie and Carol. Eddie's a smooth talking guy with the ability to sweep Carol off her feet, and we note the scene in front of the Notre Dame Cathedral with the Ellington score in the background. It's super romantic to say the least, and the fun and enjoyment is seen in spades. The two relationships begin to flourish in the Paris atmosphere, and the various locations around Paris, the Eiffel Tower, the Seine, these capture the romance that being in Paris represents, and the dialogue captures the mood. Now, Woodward and Newman, of course, being a husband and wife, were slipped easily into this imaginary life and enhanced through the characters. Lillian is from a small town. An unglamorous job is also part of her life, and she sees a future with Ram as an attractive option, and she starts digging away at the possibility of him moving and returning home with her. Eddie quickly shares with Connie that he lives a life free of racism, unlike his previous experience of living in the USA, and he doesn't really miss America at all. Connie, like Lillian though, wants him to see her as part of his life, and although the racism is an obstacle, she wants it resolved. Conflict between the two couples ensues, but their physical attraction manages to overcome occasions when they disagree with each other. The Paris street scenes are wonderful, but vacations, as always, come to an end. Both women lay down a marker to the men that they want the relationship to continue back in America, and this prompts anxiety for both the men as they grapple with the two options of either settling for a comfortable life in Paris as bachelors versus giving it up to be with the two girls back in the US with all its social problems. So, Paris Blues, very interesting film, quite liberating, although again, for 1961 we don't see that many amorous scenes that are going to test the censorship board. The movie does redraw the moral line though to an extent. There's also a subplot as well. The character Michel is a junkie and Ram tries desperately to get him clean, but the junk enables his versatility and his virtuoso guitar style to flourish. This issue about musicians and casualties in drug use, of course, very much to the fore in the jazz scene at around that time, with the casualties including John Coltrane and Charlie Parker, to name a few. So in conclusion, this black and white movie is perfect. The score is brilliant and the four lead actors deliver high quality performances. The direction and cinematography enables the viewer to have a great view of the wonders of Paris as well. So get to watch it, you won't be disappointed. So that's my review of Paris Blues, released in 1961. Get to watch it.